Hey, this is Anthony from Rocket Prince, and thanks for watching this video. On this channel, I provide you walkthrough tutorials from graphic designing to digitizing images for heat pressing t-shirts and embroidery. Today, we're going to explore the difference between auto digitizing versus manual digitizing and what are the pros and cons. We are going to demonstrate the difference with our embroidery software using my brand logo to show you the final results. And by the end of this video, you should feel confident with clarity the difference between the two. So stick around to the very end to get the full benefit to this tutorial. And if you find value in this video, please give me a thumbs up as it's going to help support my channel out tremendously. So with that, let's go and get this started. So what is the difference between the two? Auto digitizing and manual digitizing are both two common methods used to convert artwork into embroidery files. Each has its own pros and cons depending on the complexity of the design, the quality desired, and the time constraints. Here is the breakdown when it comes to the pros for auto digitizing. Speed. Auto digitization is significantly faster as the software automatically converts artwork into embroidery instructions such as an EMB file. Ease of use requires little to no digitizing expertise, ideally for beginners or quick projects. Cost effective initially saves time and effort, reducing labor cost for simple designs. And lastly, accessible tools. Most embroidery software includes auto digitizing features, making it readily available. Now the cons for auto digitizing. Limited quality control. Software generated designs often lack the finesse and precision needed for complex or detailed work. Basic stitch placement may not optimize stitch angles, underlay, or density or fabric type. Generic results. Designs can look flat or less textured compared to a manual digitized file. Lastly, troubleshooting needed often requires adjustments after auto digitizing, which can negate time saving. Okay, so now let's go into the pros for manual digitizing. So number one, custom quality. Allows for fine-tuning of all stitch types, directions, and densities for optimal results. Design complexity handles intricate designs, gradients, and textures more effectively. Fabric adaptability customizes settings based on fabric type, reducing issues like puckering or distortion. And lastly, a professional finish provides a polished and professional look essentially for high quality products. Now the manual digitizing cons. Time consuming, requires significant time investment, especially for intricate designs. Skill requirement demands expertise in embroidery techniques and software proficiencies. High cost may require hiring a skilled digitizer, increasing upfront expenses. And lastly, steeper learning curve. Beginners may find it challenging to produce high quality results. So which should you choose? Use auto digitizing if you're working on a simple logos or text, you need a fast, low cost solution, and lastly, the design doesn't require a high level of detail. So using manual digitizing if the design is complex or needs precise details, fabric type requires customized settings, high quality professional results are a priority. So combining both approaches can be a practical strategy. For example, start with auto digitizing and then refine the manual to enhance your quality and precision. That way you don't have to pay an outside third party to digitize your images for you, because it's going to save on cost and it's also going to save on time, and you're going to be really efficient at what you're doing. And also, by you doing your manual digitizing yourself, you're going to be able to develop that skill so you don't have to seek anybody else for help. This is only going to increase the revenue for your business. So I'm going to show you two designs that are going to help you understand the difference between the two and why it's better just to choose simple designs when you're auto digitizing versus a complexity of a design. Okay, so first let's go to our auto digitizing feature up here on the left, and then I'm going to click it. We are going to use my brand logo. Okay, we're going to click on auto, and then we're going to search for browse, and we're going to click here. All right, and then we're going to click next. It found my design, and it also found the color. It's telling you now you can increase the color, you can preview it, you can do some image editing, and this is how it comes out. Okay, so now what we can do is select our realistic view, and to get a better understanding how it's going to look, you can see it did a great job. All we're going to do now is we're just going to hit our shape edit outlines feature, and it's showing you all the angles the way it's stitched. Okay, all right, and it did an amazing job. Now this is what we were referring to, how a quick turnaround with something simple like this is to your benefit, to just do auto digitizing. Okay, and let's add in our other design. And we are going to take this bird that I selected here. Okay, and then we're going to select the auto. We're going to hit next. And then now we'll bring that to 127 as well. We're going to hit next. And it is searching because it's more complex, and it found the colors. So it's telling me it's found 4 colors. We're going to hit finish. Okay. And let's go ahead and reduce the stitch. And now let's look at it from this point of view. So if you go down here, I can already see there's something wrong here. So if you can look at this angle right here, you got this V shape right here. Now you can tell that it's gonna it's gonna keep stitching. It's gonna stitch, and then it's automatically going to change right here because it's trying to understand the path the way it's going. Okay, so right here, from what I've understood just embroidering and using auto digitizing, you might get a thread break right here because the way it's angled, it's not a consistent path. And right here, the angle changed. It just abruptly changed. So it was going nice and smooth until it hit here, and then it hit here. So it's making 2 sudden changes. So if you're doing 1,000 stitches per minute and then you just abruptly changed the pattern, you're getting ready for a thread break. All right, let's take another one here. Let's go up here. And you can see this pattern right here. Same thing. Looks like it's curving up here, and it's let's bring that down so you could see that it's stitching, and it's going all the way down here until it gets to this, until it gets here, and the angle changed all of a sudden. That right there is a potential thread break as well. So here's the great part about auto digitizing and manual strategy, right? So what you can do is, to fix this little part, you can actually right click on the path and you can delete the angle line. Okay, now what that does, since that angle line is deleted, now it should just straighten everything back out in order, so that way it has a smooth, continuous path. So let's go ahead and click here, and you could see that it did. It made that adjustment. So that is the benefit between auto and manual. When you're doing something quick and you can just come back in and then fix all the little parts that the auto digitizer couldn't really do, and it's going to save you a lot of time and effort spending your time trying to manually digitize the whole thing for yourself. All right, so that's the difference between auto digitizing and manual digitizing, and then using the strategy to first auto digitize it and then go back in and correct any little deficiency that you see. But it's not good to try to have it auto digitized on a complex image, because then you're going to find yourself trying to search for every deficiency within the image, and you might not find everything until you start doing a test run. Now, it's depending on how patient you are. If you want to do something like that, then, you know, hats off to you. But I would suggest that if you're going to use the auto digitizing, use simple designs like my logo, or something as simple as this where it's just all lines. It's not really complicated, and it's easy to see those little intricate mistakes that it couldn't really do, and you can fix them right off the bat. Okay, so if you versus doing something that's going to cause you a lot of time, and it's better just take the time, be patient, digitize everything all together, so that way you don't have to worry about going back in and searching for something. All right, so just good rule of thumb when you're auto digitizing and versus manual digitizing. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the benefit to manual digitizing. All you're doing now is you are in control of your digitizing. So I'm not going to go over the whole bird. I just want to show you that part where it got stuck, right? And I think it got stuck somewhere around right here. And the reason being is that there was an open gap here. So it didn't know how to, once I'm thinking what it did was once it started here, it didn't know where to finish. So it guesstimated. It guesstimated that it was going to stop, which kind of made it crooked. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to control our own destiny. All right, so all we're going to do now is I'm just going to highlight this so we can see it in a digitizing view. And all I'm going to do is go to our classic satin stitch, and we are going to start here. Now, just rule of thumb, if you never digitized before, you always want to go straight from one point to the other point. Okay, I'm holding my shift key down to help me follow the bends as they go. Now, if you hit here and then you go diagonally, that's what you're telling your embroidery machine to do. Okay, so if it starts off going nice and smooth and then you just abruptly tell it to go this way, you actually are creating a potential thread break or even a needle break, because you're telling it to do all this crazy stuff and it doesn't know how to make the changes quick enough when it's going like 1,000 minutes per stitch, right? So always keep it simple and make sure that your points are from one section to the end, that they're straight. Okay, now you can go this far if you want, and as long as you make it straight. Okay, so let's go now, let's go up. All right, and I get it, when you're gonna have to do the bends, sometimes you're just gonna have to go diagonally a little bit, but the main thing is try to keep them as straight as possible. And you can see how quick this turnout is. I'm not really putting a lot of effort in here. And here's where it kind of got stuck, so we're just gonna do our own thing here. And just like that. All right, we're going to hit enter, And look at that. Look at that smoothness that we have going around. So now let's check it out. Let's see how it's going to look in slow draw. And let's go up. And let's see what we did here. Okay, it's going to do the underlay. And it's following the way I stitched it out. It's following point to point to point, nice and straight. It's got the curve. The curve is nice and straight. I'm having a smooth transition over those gaps. And then finally, it's complete. Okay, so that is the benefit to doing your own manual digitizing. That takes away from you having to go to a third-party vendor to go and do your digitizing for you and then charge you another $20 to $40 or even more depending on the stitch count. And now you have to upcharge your customer because you didn't know how to digitize it yourself. The more you develop this skill under your belt, manually digitizing, you will never have to turn to a third-party vendor to help you create your sales. You are totally in control of your sales at all times. And that's it, everybody. So hope you found value in this video, and now you have the confidence to understand what the difference between auto and manual digitizing. And shoot me a comment. I would love to hear your feedback. What do you prefer? Do you prefer auto or do you prefer manual digitizing? And do you have other strategies how to circumvent problems with auto digitizing? I would love to hear the feedback. So with that, you have a blessed week and a blessed day, and we'll see you guys back on my next video next week, and peace.